Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Cesternino back here to talk about the Traitors, episode 9, and we will get into everything tonight on an episode with an ending that, much like many people in the challenge, missed the mark.
Oof.
How about that cliffhanger, Mr. Traitors, please, and McKilly?
Listen, everything was looking good today. Life is good. It is my birthday. I'm living my best life.
Birthday to you.
Thank you. Until the cliffhanger. They're like, okay, well, this is kind of a little bit of rain on my parade, but I think we could still have some fun with this regardless.
Sure. We'll have some fun, and happy birthday, Pooya. How did you spend your day?
Honestly, nothing grand. I just kind of kept it low key, just excused myself from all my obligations, just kind of hung out a little bit. I typically spend my birthday just in silence, just hanging out, doing my own thing.
In silence?
Yeah, well, not in not in silence so much as like I just hear no noise. I'll listen to music, do my own thing, go for a walk and all that. But I typically don't respond to all my messages that day.
Yeah.
I respond to them the next day.
Yeah.
February 23rd is reply to happy birthday messages day.
Yep. It's a first world problem, but sometimes you get a lot of messages on your birthday, and it's like, boy, there's a lot of work for me to do today.
Right. Yeah. No, it was good. It was good. I'm very happy.
Yeah. All right. So, Pooya, let's get into it. Of course, we're here live. Welcome, everybody. Hey, we want to hear from you. Got questions? Go ahead and post them in the chat. We are gonna put them aside and get to them later on in the show here tonight. And so happy to have you here with us live. If you're out there watching us live, let us know you're out there. Give us some comments. It's an interactive show. Don't be shy with the thumbs up and the subscribe button as well. All right, Pooya, is MJ really gonna vote out Phaedra?
Okay. So this is the question heard around the world. This is what we're all trying to examine, trying to figure out. And truthfully, no matter how much, because you best believe, Rob, I hit my 0.1 speed on the viewing. I zoomed in to try and see the result.
Yep.
You cannot really tell what's written there. At best, I have a guess.
Yeah.
And my honest feeling is I don't think so. I don't think she's flipping here.
How about this, Pooya? If frickin' MJ votes out Phaedra, next week, let me eat the chapstick, okay?
Yes! Okay.
0.0% chance she's gonna vote out Phaedra. The show is gonna let that be a cliffhanger, and then we're gonna open the next week with Phaedra being voted out.
You're only doing a cliffhanger here because the episode didn't have a lot to hang on, and it felt like from the onset they were going Peter anyway, right? I feel like that there's a couple other things we can put into evidence.
We end the episode on that. Parvati gets voted out. We end the episode on that. Phaedra, make it a cliffhanger. Let's vote out Phaedra 10 seconds into next week's episode.
Right. Well, the other thing I want to bring up, Rob, is that there's a couple moments in the episode because it's very clear from an editing standpoint, they're hyper focused on MJ. But there is a confessional MJ has when Trishelle was vouching or trying to convince her, Sheree, and Kate to go for Phaedra or to look at Phaedra. MJ made it very clear that, listen, if the evidence is there for Phaedra, are myself, Sheree, and MJ just going to let that happen? No. But I think it was very clear that those three are going to be together on this.
Yeah. When MJ says, I definitely don't just have blind loyalty towards Phaedra. Okay. And by that, I mean, I do definitely have blind loyalty towards Phaedra.
Listen, she's, first of all, delivering. Second of all, we've discussed many different ways to play this game. I think at the core of it, if you're MJ, she does say also right before the cliffhanger hits, I don't know whether I can believe Phaedra, but I feel like I also feel like Peter is going to turn his back on me at any given time. There's no reason for me to feel like he's not. And I think you just go with the devil you know at that point. You don't go with Peter and be on the bottom of his numbers, you know?
The whole rest of her alliance, all votes for Phaedra. Kate, Phaedra, Sheree, Sandra, all of it. Peter. You're telling me MJ is such an independently minded person? She's gonna be the only Bravo person that got convinced?
Can I tell you something, Rob?
Tell me anything.
I feel like MJ is my number one candidate for a Bravo person to win this season right now.
Well, really? Why?
I feel like MJ
You think she's got it in one of her pockets?
Listen, I think she has gifable moments, right? She eavesdrops, she walks in awkwardly. She had another fun walk in today, but also MJ sus Dan. MJ immediately clocks some things up with Kate here. I wouldn't be surprised if MJ's a faithful standing at the end, Rob, with that money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of how many
eat
people?
A chapstick? One of like two.
Like, let's go easy with the chapsticks, okay?
I feel like I want to see this happen now. So now that you put it out there.
What, you want to see me eat chapstick?
Yeah, it's my birthday.
That's what you want? You want to see humans eat chapsticks?
Listen, I've had to do it. I don't want to be the only one.
You ate a chapstick?
I did.
I didn't know you did that.
It was the goddamn BB24 Turner versus Indy thing with Amon.
I bet it's entirely possible that MJ is one of the people if the faithful win. But I'm not even feeling good about the faithful winning at this point.
See, I feel hyper focused on the faithful winning now. Because here's my thing. I personally think Peter is going out at the start of the cliffhanger. In the event that that's true, I still think Phaedra goes next. And I really don't see another way around it. I think Phaedra's game is
coming
done.
From
for Phaedra, I think
Peter's gone. Okay, and then Trishelle's gonna get killed at the nighttime, right?
Potentially, Trishelle or a John there.
Okay, so like the CT and John pull in, like you pull Sandra over.
I think what happens is once Peter gets up and says, "I'm a faithful," a lot of people are gonna be like, "Oh my god!" And then the stuff that Trishelle was saying, about how you're blinded to her, you're not gonna listen to anything. I think that tide shifts. I really do think that tide shifts, and I think a couple of the Bravo people will vote Phaedra, or will do the switch up, or even Sandra could do the switch up. I really could see that happening.
I don't know. I feel like they're like they have this blind loyalty. I don't know if they're gonna ever switch.
I mean, listen, wilder things have happened, Rob.
Sheree's gonna switch.
No, I don't think Sheree switches, but I think MJ could switch. I think Kate was talking something a little bit about not being happy about the way Phaedra's operating. She could potentially switch. I don't know if Sandra would switch, but maybe. I'm not willing to say that Phaedra's winning if she doesn't go here. There's no shot.
I kind of thought that CT was gonna end up screwing up because that he sort of like he did clock that. Okay, Phaedra was shooting at Trishelle's target, but he said that it was Sandra and Phaedra that were shooting, and I really thought he was going to say to the wrong person, "Hey, I think Sandra is a traitor," and I was worried for CT for a minute here tonight.
I love that Trishelle recognizes and doesn't make the same mistake twice and says, "We cannot listen. I think Sandra as well, but let's keep that under wraps. Let's focus on the one
Sandra's name to anybody."
Right, exactly. Too much was done last cycle, which is why they were in this predicament here with Peter.
Yeah. Okay. I would be so surprised if it's not Peter right now. Get murdered.
Yeah. Again, it's like even with the most zoom in I could do, and I tried. I felt like there were less letters, but then I also felt like I saw an A, but it's like squiggly pixels. Like you can barely tell. But my gut's telling me Peter is going, and that's why we cliffhangered this. Now, let's play devil's advocate, Rob. If Phaedra leaves here, that makes the game very interesting because then we're at 8. We're at a 4-4 deadlock almost in a way. Because I truly don't think MJ just rides with that other group at all. I think she still goes back to Sheree, Kate, and Sandra, and that could be a very fascinating watch to see how that plays out.
Yeah.
They'll go back to 7 because then Kate could murder somebody anyway. So
Yes, and would Kate get to recruit again?
Oh, we're getting close to the end. I think so, but it might be like the last chance she can recruit someone.
Yeah, because if she gets banished, then the show's over.
Yeah, well, and I do think that obviously we saw them get to murder together. I don't think the next one would be
only
unless
2
it's another
episodes
ultimatum,
left, right?
I believe so, because this was episode 9. We have 10 coming up, then 11 is the finale, then the reunion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So we'll see how it all goes. All right. Let's go back to the beginning of this episode. Kevin was the pick. First of all, I was surprised that they did a recruitment and also a murder.
I feel like enough had gone wrong with the Traitors this season. They're like, listen, we got to speed this up. Just take one out as well on the way out. Just do it. Just get it done. What did you think about the Kevin shot here?
Yeah, it was a little off my radar. And I mean, personally, I wasn't even thinking that they would do a kill. So I had not really been thinking about it. But I guess I just thought that, okay, it was going to be Trishelle.
So it was interesting because
Trishelle had the shield.
Right. They shortlisted Peter, Kevin, Trishelle, said, let's not do Peter because we think he might have the shield. So Trishelle or Kevin. And the whole time I'm yelling at my screen, get out John. John has literally been the most vocal, like verbal roaster of the bunch. People value his opinion. At the very least, even if they don't value his opinion, he's the most cleared faithful. So get rid of him because he's never getting banished. Why is he still here?
People just like him. I think they feel like, okay, let's not waste a shot on John.
He holds court really well. Like, I think the only person that is better than him at the round table is Phaedra, obviously.
Yeah, he's good at grandstanding at the round table. Here was John talking about Phaedra tonight.
You are a traitor and you should be banished until eternity.
Banished until eternity?
Yeah, relax. Where do you think you are? Like, what in the hair? Like, no, stop this. But listen, it's dramatic, and I say stop this, but also don't, because it adds to the theatrics of it all, and I'm very here for it.
It's pretty good. Okay. Yeah, but Kevin, I wasn't mad at it.
Neither was Kate, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Kate
did not like Kevin.
Rob, I loved so much that Phaedra, and I've been singing the praises of Phaedra, but I also have been very vocal that Phaedra's been playing a way too passive game. This was the prime opportunity for Phaedra to bring Kate in and be like, all right, this is how we're running it. And Phaedra immediately was like, what do you want to do? What do you think the strategy is? And Kate was like, you've been doing this the whole time. Why are you asking me? I think this is a huge misstep from Phaedra to not take.
Yeah, but you know what? If it wasn't for frickin' Dan, then Phaedra, I think, would have won this thing running away.
Yeah, easily unopposed. I think
that's why she seems to despise Dirty Dan on social media.
Well, did you catch what she said about how playing the game with Dan was?
Yes, I did. She said when Kate brings up Parvati and then Dan, she says,
"Oh God, yeah. Like eating dry Melba toast with no butter, no jam, no."
She's so obsessed with breakfast.
Hey, as a man who loves his breakfast foods, I respect it wholeheartely. I've never heard of what's Melba toast.
I think it's a particular type of bread. I feel like it's like
it's like
like marbled.
It's like a dry crisp bread. It's like a rusk type. I've had these. Yeah. Oh, that'd be tough to eat with nothing on it. Kind of dry.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Phaedra did not forget. She had the clear shot. It's like the Scooby-Doo thing. She's like, and I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you, damn meddling geeseling.
Yeah. And listen, I also do love and respect Kate's decision of, then if it's my choice, let's get rid of Kevin because he's annoying. It's like, listen, good enough for me. That works.
With Kate, it's not too deep. I don't like Kevin. Let's just kill him. And so we go to breakfast. And interestingly, we have a moment where MJ is like, something's off with you, Kate.
Now, do we think Kate was being a little suspect, or do we think Kate just had a lack of sleep because of the night she had?
I don't know.
She was just like, no, I'm fine. I'm okay. Which, I did watch the postmortem, and in it, she was like, yeah, this is like a step worse than telling someone you look tired. Kind of rude, but also I was shitting my pants. So Kate was definitely big nervous here. I will say, Rob, I was very shocked at the way Kate took to being a traitor, because I genuinely thought she's been waiting for this moment for 2
Yeah.
years. She's going to love it. She's going to like bathe in it. And she was kind of like well, I wasn't really given a choice. I guess I'm a traitor now. And it didn't feel like she took to it that well.
I don't know about Kate. I kind of feel like that her vibe, like her whole character is like, well, I can't ever be excited about anything, you know? So it's like, okay, something good just happened to you. Like, oh, I didn't even really want this. Like, you know, I just think that she's like in her character and doesn't know like, oh, this is great. I get to murder people now.
Yeah, I feel like Kate would have benefited from being a day one traitor, because you can just take people out for being annoying and just have fun with it. But I think this close to the end of the game, the less people there are, the more people have eyes available to look at the limited amount of people. And I think that makes the nervousness go up a notch. And I feel like she definitely is more nervous now than she ever has been.
Yeah, because I was excited to see Kate as a traitor.
Same. I thought this was like the best, most entertaining pick, and I was very excited for the fun there. But I don't know, it kind of made her a little serious. And again,
I
the
kind of
nerves.
feel like that it's almost like while it seemed like on paper it would be a great idea, but like the reason why Kate works on this show is because she does not give an F. And so she's a faithful, she doesn't give an F. She just says and does whatever she wants, while other people walk on eggshells of like, oh, I don't want people to think I'm suspicious. Kate's like, I don't care, whatever. But like, let me throw the money in the river. But then almost as a traitor, I don't know if that works.
Yeah, I feel like, again, it works if you've had enough time to ingratiate yourself and put yourself in. I feel like joining mid-season and also being at a place she is right now, you're so close to the finish line that you kind of want to go for the win. And I feel like Kate's whole demeanor is, I'm bigger than the game. I'm not going to lose my dignity searching through a mud pit for money. I'm going to toss it. I don't care. And now it's like, well, damn, I got to kind of care. And I kind of hate that I have to care.
Yeah. She did get in a good shot at Peter in this episode early on.
Peter was the dick and dictator.
Oh,
Classic. Vintage Kate from the top rope. Yeah, I mean, and then that's
I
the
mean,
type of
that's
stuff
on
you
the heels
enjoy.
of last week with Phaedra.
You know, if you're Sherlock Holmes, be a nice Sherlock. Don't be a Sherlock the dick.
I feel like there's a connective thread here with the two.
Yeah, I think on The Bachelor too. I think. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. Way too much dirty mackin.
Dirty macaroni and cheese. What the heck is that?
Did she seem psyched on it? I feel like other people were more hype on the mac and cheese.
What's dirty mac and cheese?
So I don't know, and I'm sure there's a proper definition of what that means, but to me it's like a greasy mac and cheese.
Greasy.
Yeah.
Dirty macaroni
Like
and cheese.
I'd be here for dirty mac and cheese.
Yeah, I don't know. Trishelle seemed like she wanted it.
Yeah, no, Trishelle was bummed that she couldn't have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trishelle can't have dairy.
Unfortunately. And I didn't see what the other meal options were, but that was like the main one.
Okay. All right. So
me, you, dirty mac and cheese, Chicago.
Dirty mackin. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It happen.
So yeah, MJ noticed something was amiss, but ultimately it was Kevin who had to die, and so one of Pete's pals is gone. So meanwhile, we're seeing CT really the switch from Peter to go to save Parvati really made Peter lose a lot of respect in the house.
Yeah, I mean, of course. It's not shocking to see, he put the dick in predicament there by conducting himself the way he did, because I feel like, again, you can't yell over the rooftops, it's Parv, and then change up like that on people. They're like, wait, but you said we're doing this.
Yeah.
We said now we're going to do this, and you're switching up on me.
But I thought he had a good response at the round table. Like, look, to win, you got to get to the end with a traitor, with a traitor that you know. Like, I'm like, sue me. I was trying to win.
Yes, but I feel like you can't, it's kind of like an unspoken rule. You can't really publicly speak on stuff like that, I feel like, especially because the reality then is, if you want to keep her, you got to vote out some of us, and that's not cool. So that's why you got to keep it to yourself when you think of these things.
Yeah. Okay. Well, ultimately, there's Trishelle and John. They're talking. There's a point where John, I think, asks Parvati. I'm sorry, not Parvati. John asks Trishelle, do we have any hope? And she's like, no, we're doomed.
This felt like a scene straight out of the live feeds when people are trying to get the votes and they're like, oh, I think we're done. I think Buddy's going home on Thursday. So I did get that energy from them. But hey, kudos to them for not just giving up because they really put on a shift here.
Well, okay. So they felt like, okay, the swing votes, we need Sandra and CT. Those are the swings. 9 people vote. We've gotten down to a manageable point where, okay, now we can start being like Survivor. We know the vote count.
Yes, 9 people vote. They have 3. They're looking for 2. 2 is the magic number.
No, they don't even consider MJ as one of the swing votes.
Not initially.
He's not even on the table as being a swing vote.
I mean, and that's because, like, you know, them alongside a lot of people like out here in the world are looking at the Bravo folks as a block, an immovable block.
Yeah.
So they really thought that, okay, we gotta work on CT and Sandra, which is interesting because I think by episode's end, they think Sandra is a traitor as well. So
yeah, there's a great scene where CT and Peter talk. And Peter asks CT, who are you voting for? And CT tells Peter, yeah, I'm voting for you right now.
Well, I love this moment so much because Peter gets so incredulous. Like, wait, why? That's ridiculous, honestly. Like, I feel like everything I've done makes sense and it's all part of a plan. And not once, but twice, Rob. CT in confessional and here brings up parlor tricks as part of the reason. This weird gambit that Peter's running. Everything's part of a master plan. But I did love CT saying, listen, you asked me a question. I gave you an answer. I don't know why you're getting upset at me for being honest with you.
It's fair. Just to go back to the MJ and Kate conversation, that Kate also said that she's just very paranoid right now. That's why MJ thought that maybe something was off. And that's why Kate says she doesn't like the MJ.
This is why I don't smoke marijuana. I get paranoid.
Relatable. We've all been there. If you've indulged, you know. But yeah, I fully, my heart resonates with Kate, though, I will say, because I can speak a big game sitting here comfortably, watching it, consuming the whole show, and really knowing the ins and outs of the game. I think playing it is a whole different vibe. I did find it funny when she was like, as a faithful, would I eat the salmon or like is the salmon a part? I feel like you just overthink everything. And I feel like a show where there's not a lot to go off of, you have to worry about any little thing being put in your folder as a suspect move. Yeah. Like you, Rob, if you went for the boiled eggs and we were sitting around table, I'd be like, why
did I go for a boiled egg yesterday? I have to remember.
Right. Like you have to keep it consistent.
Okay. Should we talk about this challenge?
I feel like we formally must, especially because they ended up being a big part of the round table.
Yeah. I almost feel like that every week we say, this is the new worst challenge.
Yeah. And what do you think? Do you think this was the one? Because
no, I don't think this was the worst challenge, but oof. This could have been an email.
You know how bad it has to be for Alan to jokingly say, yeah, and that went super long and it's over now, because it really felt like it took forever. This was not a fun challenge to watch on the UK iteration either. This crossbow, I feel like, is not the best. And ultimately, you just get to this point where people are like, just break my glass already. I don't even care about getting the shield.
God knows how long it actually went on for. I mean, I think they went the whole first round of everybody shooting the crossbow and nobody hit.
Well, they lost about 10K and each throw was worth 250. So they had 40 attempts amongst them until they finished it.
Right. And it's like, what are we even doing with this prize pot? Nobody cares. It's like, oh, you missed a shot. Now we're taking $250 out of the prize pot. Ooh.
I feel like And especially once everyone just agreed, okay, let's not adjust the object and just keep it on the same direction and tinker with it to just get a target.
Mhm.
It kind of made it not fun anymore because people weren't targeting each other. Like I was looking for that more. Thankfully, for whatever reason, Sandra and Phaedra decided, hey, let's move it down to the bottom right and just get Trichelle's out, then go up and adjust all of those. I feel like that's when things got a little interesting, obviously, and paid some dividends. But until that point, I truly didn't care.
Yeah. Not $250 from the prize pot that I have to split with 4 people. That could have been $70 in my pocket. Thanks a lot.
Rob, it's free extra money.
They're gonna just do a challenge in next week's episode that they get all this money back.
But you might not be there for that.
Who cares if it's $250? Like I said, that was like, yeah. What are we even doing? Like, oh, now the prize pot's only 24,500. Oh, what's happening now? Oh, another 250 out of the prize pot.
I like this impression you're doing. It's like you want to do the Allen, but you don't want to do the Allen.
All right. Well, okay. At least we got some drama out of the go for Trishelle.
Yeah. So in case anyone didn't watch, to give you picture the Hollywood squares, right? They got like 9 boxes.
Yeah.
And they got the middle 3 out the way. They got the bottom 2 left and middle 1 out the way. 4 left. The top row entirely intact and the bottom right. And they were targeting CTs, which was in the top left. And then next to that was John. And then next to that was, I want to say MJ? Doesn't matter.
Alphabetical order. Yeah.
And Kate. It was Kate. That's exactly what it was. But then midway through, their whole strategy was, we're going to just focus on this one. And if I miss it, you come in next, just move it a little bit. Because if you move it left to right, it's easier than up and down. And then Sandra and Phaedra just switched up and said, let's just go to the bottom right and get that one out first. Get Trichelle's out, then go back up.
Now, Sandra was in the like musket firing challenge back in Survivor Pearl Islands. I don't remember how she fared in that one. I know that Dara won it.
I feel like a musket and a crossbow, I feel like there's differences in the two, right? Especially this one is like stationary. I don't know.
Overall, I did like the element of, okay, like, and I don't know, we could have done this like differently, of like some sort of like social strategy of like, we're gonna try to go for taking out these different people, but this is just this janky crossbow
with these like wooden chips as the bullets.
Like and these like Nerf suction cups that are gonna break the glass.
I will say it was satisfying hearing the glass break. I did like that part. It was good ASMR for me personally.
Did you feel like Stone Cold was going to come out?
That would have been incredible. Could you imagine Stone Cold Steve Austin and John Burkow at the round table going head to head?
Yeah, I think a wrestler for the Traitors would be great.
Phenomenal choice. Yeah. There's like, so many of them. Book it.
Any of them.
And literally any of them.
Yeah. I think that would be good, especially especially now that like all the wrestling's on Peacock. What are we even doing?
It's such a clear opportunity.
The Miz for the Traitors? Are you kidding? Come on.
He would do it in a heartbeat.
Let's go.
Yeah.
It'd be perfect.
Yeah, there's quite a few of them that have done other reality TV that'd be very willing.
They say he's from the challenge.
Exactly.
So yeah, that would be an easy one.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about people who will ride a gimmick till the end. They will follow the theatrics of the show perfectly, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, ultimately it came down to CT got the shield.
Yeah, CT gets the shield. Ultimately, it comes down to John and CT. CT has the next opportunity to hit, and he does not miss. He gets out John, and he gets the shield. So you think he'd be happy. But CT is one of the first people to be like, that kind of felt like they didn't want Trishelle to get the shield. That's traitor behavior right there.
That's what really flips CT around.
Immediately. And, you know, a lot of people talking about how The Bravo celebs are not going to turn on each other. And CT's never going to turn on Phaedra. They're tied. They're thick as thieves, these two. They might even be our new relationship that we're all rooting for. Rob, a lot of dreams were shattered tonight. So, yeah.
CT saw the light.
He saw half the light because he also thinks Sandra's traitor. So, you know, like a half measure there.
Yeah. Well, they're going to just keep that one under their hats and see what comes of it. But yeah, they really are feeling like that Phaedra is the traitor, and they're going to Peter is going to make a pitch to Sandra. They put John on convincing Sandra. I'm so confused about Sandra.
Okay, tell me more.
Well, okay, Sandra, of course, the legend of Survivor, the two-time. Like, I feel like that there's a lot of talk about there, and I feel like that people talk about Sandra on the show almost like she's knows everything that's happening. She's got this all figured out. Does she? Can I ask that question?
I mean, you can, of course. I mean, we were supposed to ask all the questions.
I want to believe.
Well, I believe I came in last week with an explanation of what I thought could be happening, and that could still remain true.
Remind me.
So my whole thought was, the reality is she cannot control everyone's maneuvers. You know, I think Peter has successfully been able to control the actions of an entire group of 4 or 5 people. And for a second there, it looked like Sandra had full control of the other side of the castle, right? It looked like everyone that wasn't in the Peter Palace was following Sandra's move. And truly, had that night not been a non-elim, I think that Peter would have gone out there. I really do. But once Peter survived and Bergie went out, the whole threat of that side of the house having control fell apart. And then everyone was looking at Parv again. And I think if you're Sandra, you don't want to put your neck out there for Parv. So it is what it is. It has to go.
Yeah.
But
does
now,
Sandra? Okay.
Yes.
Let me ask you this question. And I just want to know the answers.
Hit me with it.
Does Sandra think Peter is a traitor?
No, I don't.
She
think
does
so.
not. She's just voting against him because of she doesn't like his alliance.
I don't think it's that she doesn't like his alliance. It just feels like Peter is sketchy, and it's a good reason to get him out because he was a little sketchy there. Because I mean, the reality is he's not working with you. He'll never work with you. Yeah. You're never going to believe he's going to work.
I'm trying to figure this out because I know Sandra has said yes. The thing is, she has said that the faithful have to go home too, and I never thought about that before she said that. So I think that's very interesting. Does Sandra think Phaedra is a traitor?
I think so. I think she thinks Phaedra's a traitor.
So Sandra knows Peter is not a traitor, voting him out. She knows Phaedra is a traitor, keeping her in the game.
Yes, because does
Sandra know Kate is a traitor?
That I don't think so. I don't think anybody's on the Kate right now, outside of MJ, who noticed the little shift during breakfast, but we never got back to that after that. I don't think anyone's looking at Kate otherwise, as of right now. Because here's the thing, Rob. I think if you're Sandra, and I think if we're watching this and thinking of what Sandra's doing, I think if you're looking ahead and if everything falls Sandra's way, she gets to the end with the Bravo women here. Your thought is, how does she not get voted out at like 5, right? You know what I mean? Like, how does she not get voted out when that group is together? But I think there's enough cracks forming here that maybe something could give. But I would also wish we saw more of who's Sandra really close to, because the show has illustrated Trishelle and CT very close, Trishelle and Peter extremely close. But we're not seeing who's Sandra's number 1 here. That's what I want to know. Who is her tried and true number 1? So
I don't know. I think that there was also, I think, a lot of thought that, Sandra knows about Parvati. They're working very closely. She's keeping Parvati close to her. You and I had the chance to talk to Parvati the other day. We asked Parvati, what kind of working relationship did you have with Sandra? She said, Sandra would like give her a crumb, but they really weren't very close at all in the game. Not like in a bad way, just like, they didn't want to like put any suspicion on each other.
Yeah, it's kind of like it was unspoken, where it's like I'm keeping her name out of my mouth, she's keeping my name out of her mouth, and we're kind of keeping each other safe. It was really what it felt like in talking to Parv about it, and also in like seeing it play out. Because I think what I feel like is Sandra probably has of the Bravo network. I feel like MJ's probably the one we've seen her be closest to, which again is why I think MJ's in such a good spot all of a sudden, because I think she's also close with Sheree, Kate. I think her and Phaedra seem to be fine, and she has Sandra, because I feel like Sandra's probably closest to. She's definitely closer to MJ than she is to Phaedra. Just the facts of the matter there. And I feel like she's holding on to Phaedra at this point to cut Phaedra at the end. Now the question becomes, let's say Peter leaves and CT and Trishelle put out this information of, hey, well, we also kind of think Sandra's bad. And then the Bravo celebs are like, oh, then let's get rid of Sandra. And that's how Sandra gets cooked here. That could definitely be a way that goes.
I don't think that they would even, I think that she's playing incredibly well socially. I just feel like that there's a lot of like, almost like a prevailing thought that Sandra knows where all the traitors are, knows everything. And I think she's playing incredibly well socially and has really ingratiated herself into the Bravo crew.
Yes.
And maybe she doesn't care who the traitors are.
Why wouldn't she care? Because as long as she just gets to the end, she'll maybe find a way out.
Her path to victory in the past.
But I mean, I think that's the number one reason why she had mentioned that she was getting closer to the Bravo people very early on. Like I believe it was the Larsa banishment episode where we heard her confessional say that. And then also Peter Pal's being so secluding, I think, was further pushing her in that direction. At this point, I'm willing to put some chips down and say that I think she is caught Phaedra. She's I think she's fairly sure that Phaedra is bad. It's just a matter of keeping Phaedra and kind of convincing other people down the line to cut Phaedra. It's kind of where I'm at with it.
Did she believe Janelle was a traitor when she voted for Janelle?
Okay, so Janelle was the one who threw Sandra's name out, and then Sandra threw the name out right back at Janelle. That was early. That was pre-Dan as well. I don't know. I think that's a possibility. Not 100% there, but I think it's a case of once your name was thrown out there, you're not going to not accuse her right back and vote her out, you know?
Okay. Let's talk about then at the round table, John got it started. Really was trying to start the avalanche against Phaedra.
I love Phaedra at the round table. I think she's easily making a case to be my favorite person at a round table. I just feel like the way she responds and claps back at anything anyone throws at her, and Kate talks about this in the postmortem as well, just with a level of calmness, but the calmness doesn't sacrifice any attitude or response. It still hits with a lot of power behind it. And I love that from Phaedra. It didn't seem like anything this man said fazed her at all.
Yeah. I'm very impressed with Trishelle in this game.
Okay, tell me more.
She's really like got this, like it really made a very strong case about Phaedra and put like all of the information together. And at the point where she's saying like, Dan, when he was going out, says that Phaedra is a traitor. Parvati also, she's when she's dead to rights, says Phaedra is a traitor. Like, isn't that enough for you people?
Again, good detective game for sure. And I truly think at this point, for the Peters and the Trishelles of the world, there is no benefit to having Phaedra stay in the game if you've sussed her out, because Phaedra's going to the end of the game with other faithfuls that are not you two. So you have to get rid of her. You're 100% making the right choice for you at this stage. I will say the Parvati put your name out, because John also brought this up, and I was like, Parvati didn't put her name out. Parvati was simply voting for
that
the
we
other
saw
person
in the show.
That's true, that we saw on the show, because I thought this was an argument of Parvati voted her, and I was like, well, she had no other choice. Of course, she was going to vote Phaedra once it's one or the other. But it's very funny to me, because it feels like the Peter Pals were this big clique, and they had got all the information, and they're like, top of the food chain, we're living our best lives. None of you can have this good food here. You go away to the other room. And then two of them
They
got
have the good
clipped.
food?
Yeah, I was trying to go for an analogy, and then midway I abandoned it, but then the food was still there, and I think I just saw food on the mind because of how food heavy the episode was. But then now that they've lost two of their own, they're really like, oh my God, no, but seriously, food chain aside, you need to listen to us. And they're like, why? We don't have to, we're going to do what we want to do. So it's so fascinating to me because ultimately, Rob, the Trishelle and CT relationship has really yielded a lot of dividends for Trishelle here, because CT has jumped over to her side in the last couple cycles.
Yep. They're just one vote short.
Just one short. Or they nailed it and Rob eats a chapstick on next week's episode.
Do you really believe that?
I truly, honestly, Rob, I said this. If we were betting here, right? If this is a roulette table and it's black or red, I'm putting my votes on Peter going. I'm putting all my chips on Peter going. But you never know what the roulette table gives
percentage
you.
chance are you that Peter is gone?
So I zoomed in, and we'll see next week. I zoomed in, and to me, it felt like there were 5 letters there. It's a very grainy zoom in. You can't really tell. But I felt like it was a shorter bit of writing, and I felt like I could see 5 letters. So for me, it's Peter going.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's interesting. I just feel like I don't know why they would cliffhanger it if it was Phaedra.
Right. Well, I did see someone on socials.
Why wouldn't you end an episode on a very exciting moment?
Well, the what's it called? Someone on Twitter did add us and say that in season 1, the Cody boot was a cliffhanger on Cerie's board reveal. So I will say I forgot that because they just gave us all the episodes in one go anyway there. So it was like hard to remember this. But I'm with you, right? I feel like you want the Phaedra moment to be the last moment of the episode. You do not want it to be at the beginning. Although then devil's advocate would be, well, Phaedra's about to leave. Let's get her for one more episode before she goes. That could be an argument made as well, right? You want her to be a part of episode 10 as well. But I still truly don't. I still subscribe to it being Peter.
I am much the cliffhanger. I feel like a secondary for me. The first part for me is I do not see the world where MJ turns on the Bravo Alliance.
MJ ain't flipping when Sheree, Kate, everybody on her side is voting Peter. I don't think she flips to join Peter, John, Trishelle, and CT at this point. I just don't. I think. And obviously, I've spoken about how much I don't like looking at the Traitors as a numbers game, just plainly because an alliances, because that don't really mean much in the game. You still have to figure out your way of getting to the end with the Traitor or whatever. But if you look at it like that, why would she give up everything to be in a 5-person group with a top 3 of Peter, Trishelle, and John, her on an island, CT on an island? That just means if you hypothetically go to the end with these 5, you're going to be cooked. You're not going to be getting them.
I think it's more likely what you said in the beginning, where I think that, that Peter, she votes against Peter. Peter stands up and is like, I wasn't faithful. I was the most faithful, whoever faithful.
Phaedra goes after.
And then they're like, I don't like that. And then next time they get Phaedra.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what's going to happen. Unfortunate, of course, but I do think that Phaedra is the next one to get banished after Peter. I think that's the order of operations. But the interesting thing is, Rob, who do you think they go for the murder overnight?
Okay.
Who's the best person to get rid of?
Yeah, this is assuming Phaedra stays.
This is assuming Phaedra and Kate make it back to the turret. Yes.
Maybe it's John now.
I think John is the right move. I really do. It's funny.
CT has a shield.
Yeah, it's funny because John vocalized at the roundtable that I'm going to get banished next, so I fully don't expect to be here if Phaedra survives the vote. And then Trishelle on the other side has said, you kept me from getting a shield because you want to murder me. So I think one of those two are probably the one gone here easily.
Okay.
So
let's take some questions from our listeners. We got a lot here. Okay.
yes.
All right. People want to know why'd they kill Kevin instead of John? John is much more influential of a faithful. Kevin is always loud and wrong. And then Kelly Kate says, why'd the traitors get rid of Kevin instead of John? Kevin seemed to be turning on Peter last episode, and John's more steadfast. Everyone outright calls John the most faithful of the faithfuls.
That's the baffling thing to me. When you are given the tagline, most faithful person here, most proven faithful, that is a death warrant in this game. You should not be surviving, because I think, to me, once someone can't get banished and I'm a traitor, boot them. Whether or not they're contributing, boot them, because there's no way you can put any suspicions on them. And especially if I'm Phaedra watching this, because obviously John voted Parv ultimately. So John doesn't vote out Phaedra. So that's good for her. But then when I look at it and I think about it, okay, so John tap danced on Dan's grave. John then tap danced on Parvati's grave, called her the Duchess of Deception and the Mistress of Murder. I never want John to eulogize my banishment. Get him out. And like, obviously, Phaedra can go toe to toe with this man easy, but still, compare that with the, you know, again, no offense to the man, okay? He seems nice, but a bit of a fool in Kevin. It's a no-brainer. You know, Kate says Kevin is annoying. Perfect. He'll annoy other people. He'll annoy his way out of the game. He'll get banished. He's a lot more likely to get banished than John. I think John should have been the one.
Yeah. Eric wants to know, what did John mean when he said my ferrets were in a bag? I thought he said that they were coming for him like ferrets in a sack.
Yeah, that was when they were targeting him in the mission.
Yes.
If you put ferrets in a bag, do they target things? I assume maybe.
I don't know if ferrets belong in a bag or a sack.
I don't think so. I mean, I have no relationship with ferrets, so I don't quite know what it means either, but I feel like I got the gist of it, if you know.
Okay. How about a question? This is one that is from Elijah. Wants to know, how do you think John would do if he got recruited?
Oh, God. Okay.
I think he'd be fun.
He'd be fun, but also low-key, he'd be one of my two candidates or my main candidate to decline and get murdered and just get booted from the game.
Okay.
I could also see a world where that happens. Just based on some of his rhetoric and the way he speaks on things and how traitorous and scummy the traitors are, it would give me the energy that he might decline, which obviously I still don't truly think anyone would decline. But I also thought that there's no world where Peter declines being a traitor. So here we are.
Are we safe to do some traitors edgic?
Listen, I love me some edgic, some edit reading, some thoughts. I'm down.
Okay.
Why not?
All right. Ariel says, question about Sandra. Why is she kind of purple? What do you think her edit is? What it is? Where's this going? Does this mean she'll make a big splash in the final chapter?
I feel like she's been a little bit invisible recently. And also, I want to preface this by saying I know that invisible is like an edgic term. I might not necessarily be using that in the accurate edgic depiction, but I'm trying to read the edit. So I feel like she's been a little bit quiet in the last couple weeks. However, I feel like in the beginning, it was very prevalent in that she would still be getting content when she had nothing to do with the episode. She had nothing to do with the direction of anything. We still got the ad libs from Sandra saying what her thoughts were, how she felt. She brought up Parvati a bunch of times and mentioned that, listen, if I sniff out that Parvati's a traitor, I'm going after her. I'm making that known. They brought that confessional back on the Parvati boot episode as well. I feel like that's something to also point at. And I don't know. I feel like she's still gotten a good edit. I feel like this episode was a little scary for her because I don't think we really got a whole lot from her. But I still think she's end game. I still think she's final chapter.
She's invisible.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Okay, but okay. So Morgan wants to know, what's up with Sheree's purple edit? Was anyone in season 1 this invisible? Yeah, definitely. I think actually quite a few people, and you don't remember them.
I think the key is if you quizzed us, we might get like 8 people from that
But
season.
I don't know how Sheree loses the game. I don't know how anybody kills her, and I don't know how anybody banishes her.
I think the only way Sheree loses or gets banished is Phaedra leaves, Sheree's on an island, and then somehow gets outnumbered at the end by a stronger duo that are like, okay, we're just going to vote out Sheree here.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if MJ and Sandra's relationship is very strong, stronger than MJ and Sheree is, and they're the final three, maybe they vote her out there. I still don't think that happens. It feels like you can almost split the faithful win any number of ways, and you probably imagine Sheree's there with the money. But I think the biggest tell in Sheree's lack of content is Sheree's name gets taken out of this mission, and the confessional we got from Sheree was, well, I guess I'm not getting the shield. And hey, it was Phaedra that targeted Sheree's name. Sheree didn't have anything negative to say about that. I think that tells you all you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of just been chilling there.
She's
now.
chilling.
Yeah.
She's just vibing.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and listen, for some people, that strategy will take you all the way to the end and give you a split of the pot. So,
okay,
can't be mad at it.
Darlene wants to know: are any of these folks playing an under the radar game? Do you think any of them know to keep a traitor close?
I feel like Sandra has clearly articulated this on socials. So at the very least, it's in the forefront of her mind. I feel like my opinions on CT have altered a little bit, in that I don't think CT's doing the keep the traitor close strat at this point.
No.
I think I just highlighted why Peter and Trishelle would want to push out Phaedra, because the reality is, if Phaedra's getting to the end with a bunch of faithfuls, we're not those faithfuls. So we should get a re-rack would be good. A new traitor could be a new different world for us. We have nothing else to lose. But I don't know. I'm so curious on MJ, Rob, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if I have been MJ'd, the MJ effect has seeped in. I feel like MJ knows, Rob. I feel like MJ knows.
What do you mean the
more.
MJ effect?
This is why I don't smoke marijuana. I get
No,
paranoid.
not the paranoia. No. The other MJ, the player. I feel like MJ might be smarter than what the show's giving us, is all I'm trying to say here. I think she might be privy to some things.
Okay, I mean, talk it through. So what are you saying, that MJ knows who the traitors are?
I feel like MJ has correctly, like, I don't know. I mean, obviously it was a fleeting moment of breakfast.
And if she does she want Phaedra to stay?
No, because I think she would keep Kate. I think that's what it is. I think her, because it felt so weird. Like you think
that MJ has clocked both Phaedra and Kate are the traitors?
I don't think she's clocked Phaedra at all. But I think after Peter goes, she's like, okay, snap, Phaedra is one. I think she may be the only one onto Kate at the moment. Mm-hmm. And I think, because obviously, let's look at it this way, right? The way Trishelle and Peter and John are talking, it's so clear none of them are bad. And if they are God tier bad, because they're so clearly doing a faithful play that they're fooling you. So I think that takes them off the board for her. I think she then looks at her own group naturally and trying to figure out who amongst them is the one. I think now Peter goes, she sees Phaedra's bad. It's like, oh, snap, Phaedra's bad. Okay. Mm-hmm. Got to get rid of Phaedra. And then she'll think more about that interaction with Kate she had. And she might even poke Kate some. I don't know. This is too much, because I'm not about to stand here and be like MJ is the dawn of like a new strategic generation. We've seen like 2 frames of her giving me something intriguing. Whereas before, I feel like she was just more comedic relief, gifable moments. So I'm not ready to crown MJ just yet, but I'm very intrigued by MJ, to say the least.
Julia says, when Phaedra gets banished, who does Kate recruit?
Let's see. So let's follow the logic of Peter gets banished here. They murder. They'll be down to what, 7?
Mm-hmm.
And then at 6, Phaedra gets banished. Kate won't be able to recruit, I don't think, at 5.
Mm-hmm.
She could. No, I don't think that happens. I think if Phaedra leaves here, she'll be able to recruit. Otherwise, I don't think so. And historians of the traitors, come at me if I'm wrong, please, because a lot of this meshes into one
Doesn't
time.
Doesn't that seem more likely I mean, can you see another traitor being added?
It's definitely, it's happened where you get recruit, but I feel like once you get to 5 and that's it, it's done. I think the last murder might be this night that we're about to get. I don't think we get another murder after that, because if we're doing the numbers again, right now we're at Sorry, we're at 9, right?
Nine, right?
we
Nine
go
before this, yeah.
9 before this. So Peter goes, we're down to 8. They murder, we're down to 7. I guess if Phaedra gets banished at 6. No, I still don't think so. I still don't think it happens. I don't think it happens.
Yeah. So we would go to like the final rose ceremony. Would we have a banishment where potentially Kate could get banished at 5?
Yes, because we go to the fire of truth most likely at 4. Yeah.
Could the faithful win the game if they banish Kate at 5?
That's interesting because so without spoiling anything, well, actually, spoiler alert, I'll give you 5 seconds before I reveal this information. Okay. We have never had a final fire of truth ceremony with no traitors available. So I'm intrigued by the idea because do they just say game over, bye-bye, like the faithful one, or do we let them vote each other out anyway?
That's
if
interesting.
Because that would intrigue me heavily. I would love the idea of the faithful being able to just take each other out for more money at the end. So
okay, all right, all right. Katie Beth wants to know 100 chicken nuggets today for Pooya's birthday.
No, please. Rob, what would you? Okay, if you had to forego, would you rather eat a chapstick or 100 nuggets?
I think I'd rather have one chapstick.
I think you're. Listen,
that's like a big Jeff question. Would you rather?
Yeah.
Would you rather eat 100 chicken nuggets?
Here's the thing.
Or would you rather? Is your current relationship with nuggets good?
Taste factor, obviously, nuggets taste better, but 100 of them do unspeakable things to your body. Don't do that.
Yep. Okay. SL Walling wants to know what chapstick flavor, Rob. Seriously, I'm not sure, but I doubt that she'll be voted out.
Yeah, I don't know. I also did see some people mentioning that one of the previews for the season had a clear challenge or something that one of the two is on. So that could be a spoil. I have to go do investigations is what I'm going to do. Because listen, I know that it's for dramatic effect, but I kind of would like to know.
I'm not going to investigate at all. I'm just going to live in suspense for a week.
I love that for you, Rob. I love that for you.
Yeah. Okay. How about Mika says, did Peter's comment at the round table about going to the end with a known traitor, that's the only way to win the game, influence people to keep Phaedra?
Listen, Mika, that is a great point you're making, because I think if he says that, then you're like, well, I'm pretty close with Phaedra. I bet she'll go to the end with me if I keep her here. Because again, if you're Trishelle, you're Peter, you can't keep her because that's a thankless job. You will get murdered anyway because Phaedra has other people she's closer to at this point. So
okay. All right. Then how about a question from James? Rob and Pooya, what happens if it's a tie between Peter and Phaedra? What if MJ voted for someone that's not Peter or Phaedra?
Then they'll do a revote, basically. This has happened one other time. I won't say which season, so you won't know. And they just have them revote. And obviously, MJ would then be told you can only vote for Phaedra or, I was about to say Parvati, but Phaedra or Peter. If your name starts with the letter P, you've been getting cooked for 3 weeks now, unfortunately. Sad times for us.
Okay. Let's see. Anything else that we
that would be messed up. Could you imagine, Rob, if the whole cliffhanger were like, who did you vote for? Phaedra or Peter? And MJ just voted for like
John.
Yeah. Be like, get out of here. Because they could have shown us John and then ended the episode. At least that would have been a result for me. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Brian wants to know, has Phaedra had a plan as a traitor? She just asked what the others wants to do. Said, ooh, that would be very interesting.
Hey, she's playing a more passive game, which I Rob said this earlier. I've said this before. Had Dan not thrown a Hail Mary, is working very well for her. Because I basically think if you're not like completely head on everything behind a plan, you can play it off like, oh, that's what happened. That's very strange. Whereas if you had active control and it doesn't pan out, I think people can read into the disappointment or, I feel like not having credit for something does a lot for just like the face of everything. So give you
Yeah.
an example.
Okay.
If I said, okay, my plan is to do these 8 things, and then someone walks in there and they're like, okay, I'll go back to food, Rob. That's the easier analogy, right? I made a whole dinner and someone comes in, they're like, I don't really like this mac and cheese. It'd be
Is it
very
dirty
hard.
mac and cheese?
You damn right it is.
Mhm.
I'd have a very hard time fighting the emotions of like not feeling insulted. But if someone said, what do you guys want to eat? Oh, mac and cheese? Okay, sure, whatever, order it. And someone said, who got the mac and cheese? This sucks. I'd be like, I don't know. I didn't get it. So you know what I mean? Like just little things like that help. And I just think it's very clear to me that Phaedra's willing to let other people take the reins and then have it blow up in their faces as opposed to her. And it's working. Obviously, given the position she's in the game now, I think it's time to have her take control of the steering wheel a little bit because it's getting a little hard. But so far, it's been working.
You say Phaedra played a passive game, but how about this from the round table to Peter?
This is not The Bachelor. I don't have to kiss your ass for a rose.
10 out of 10 experience, Rob. This was the line people have been waiting for weeks. And we finally got it.
We ate.
It's such a one-liner. It's so good.
We were sat. We ate.
You could tell Peter got offended by that one.
Oh,
He did not like that line.
that's
Definitely
not even how it works.
Yeah, that cut him deep. What did you think of Peter telling Kate early in the episode that The Bachelor is 100 times more tough than the Traitors is?
Touch grass.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay. Get a grip, Peter.
Yep.
All right.
There you go.
Then Rafe wants to know, do you think that Kate will turn on Phaedra?
She definitely had a confessional or two pointing out that she didn't love the way Phaedra was playing. So I think those are there for a reason. And that also lends to why I think Phaedra's out after Peter. I really don't think Phaedra's game is long for the world anyway. Now, the other intriguing thing, and I see someone bring this up in the chat, Rob, and I would like to know your thoughts on it, is do you think the paranoia Kate has about MJ looking at her and saying, you seem suspicious, something's changed, do you think Kate will get rid of MJ?
Oh, interesting. I like the foreshadowing in the Traitors. That could be pretty good. So, but I can't see, like, do you think that maybe, okay, so Phaedra lives.
Yes.
You think that maybe the murder could be MJ? You think that, like, oh, that'll throw him off?
I really don't think so. I truly feel like they're going to want to. It was such a close vote. If Phaedra's still alive, they're like, let's take one more number out from that side. We cannot have them get close to voting us out. Because think about it. If they take out MJ, then there's still 3 on that side and 4 on this side, but it's still wonky. You want to make it down to 2 people there, I think. Still.
Can we just play out real quick?
Yes.
Okay, so let's. I've articulated. I don't think it's going to be Phaedra.
Yes.
Okay, but let's say the next episode starts off with. Okay, just let's look at the other side of the mirror.
Sure.
Okay, next episode starts off. Okay, MJ votes. Sorry, it's Phaedra. And then what? How could you? How could you turn on Bravo? You'll pay for this. You'll rue the day. Like, sorry, had to. Compelling case. All right. Phaedra reveals I was a traitor the whole time, and I would have gotten away with it if it was that for that damn meddling, dirty Dan Giesling. And then, okay, oh my God, we got one. And Peter's like, spikes the football. Peter's pals are all going nuts. Kate is only traitor. Kate recruits, middle of the episode, recruits somebody. Throw out a name. Who's Kate recruiting in this?
Oh my God.
Alternate universe.
Sandra or Sheree are probably.
Could she recruit MJ?
I don't think she recruits MJ. She could. I don't think she will. Actually, she could. Why wouldn't she? Because if she's on to her, then she can bring her in.
Okay. So Phaedra's out. Kate recruits MJ. And then do they murder also?
Damn it.
No, because it's not even the night. Or I guess it still is the night.
I don't know. It's so tough, Rob, with the Traitors because of the way the show's formatted, and now we know there's 11 episodes. I don't know how they're going to do it. The reality is, though, similar to how we joke about the fact that the last challenge will pretty much bring the prize pot up to the 250K anyway, they could just shove 2 quick roundtables into the finale if they needed to. So I think, no, they can't murder, but also, yes, they could murder. But I don't, if they recruit there, unless it's an ultimatum, I don't think they get to murder as well.
Yeah. And then maybe does Sandra get banished at the end of the episode next week then? If it's then Peter's pals like really are controlling things?
If they hit on Phaedra, I truly think Sandra will have a very mountain decline.
Yeah, then Sandra was defending Phaedra. Sandra looks bad. Peter's pals already think that it's Sandra. And so, yeah, I think Sandra gets banished in by the end of the episode.
Right. Yeah, I think so. I think that's a good way to look at it, because I still think because I think Peter kind of gets absolved a little bit, but also what we've said about Phaedra being in trouble, I don't think Peter's completely out. Like, I still don't think Peter is endgame material. I don't think he gets to the final fire of truth, but I think Sandra probably goes before him in that timeline.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I still think Occam's razor is Phaedra's safe. Peter goes home, and then we go from there with Phaedra ultimately eliminated at the end of next week's episode. She goes in the next banishment.
Listen, Rob, the way you've set it up for me, I can't lose, because if Phaedra leaves, I'm devastated, but you eat a chapstick. If Peter leaves, I'm okay. And we still probably most likely watch the final roundtable for Phaedra, which is sure to have fireworks at it. So it's still going to be a good episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of good episodes, we had a great podcast earlier today when my great friend, put him on the Traitors, Bryce Isaiah, joined me for It's a Look. 5-year anniversary of It's a Look, as we went through all 18 of the brand new Survivor players, talked about who is giving the Luke that is going to make them the winner of Survivor 46. So we had a great time there. And then got a lot of other stuff coming up. Monday night, we'll have the Survivor 46 pre-season draft as well. Got a big episode coming up this weekend. Also, the 5,000th episode of Robin's podcast is coming up. We have something very special planned. Looking at potentially a live release Sunday night of RHAP 5,000. RHAP 5,000.
Woo!
Okay.
Yeah, listen, I know what it is.
Oh.
And let me tell you, it's worth it.
Okay.
It's going to be so good.
All right. So check that out. Lots of big stuff. It's going to be a big week. We're less than a week into the Survivor season. And when we get back together 1 week from now, Pooya, we will have a 1 episode, 2 hours of Survivor already in the books. So everything is coming up us.
Well, we're about to be blessed, Rob. I'm so excited. So much good content coming up. So many good shows and lots of fun podcasts to follow.
Okay. Including the Traitors feedback show. You and I talked with Ethan Zahn earlier this week. That's evergreen.
Yeah. I think it was a very fun time. Ethan was very much into the all the stuffs, and we had a good bit of fun with him. Yep. And Rob, this upcoming week, I'm bringing a new person up to the turret with me on the feedback show. I'm bringing
a new old person.
I'm bringing someone who I've podcasted with about the Traitors before, who has been on the Traitors before and has had a very, very fun journey and is a very fun person. Annabelle will be joining me on the feedback show for the Traitors, and I'm very excited to hear her thoughts and see how she feels Traitors US Season 2 is doing, and how it is doing in comparison to her season, Traitors AU Season 2.
Okay. All right. And then if you missed it this week, Pooya and I caught up with Parvati, and you can check out our exit interview with Parv as well on RHAPisawebsite.com and on our YouTube channel. Pooya, what else is coming up for you?
Well, I did have 90 Day Fiance make a comeback this week. Myself and Sasha Joseph got on to talk about all things going on there. I believe the finale is next week, so I'll be doing that. That should be a fun time. Otherwise, you can follow me on Twitter at Pooyaism. And this weekend is a very big one for me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Pooya. I'm doing a stream every day of the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Saturday, I'm doing a 12-hour stream from noon to midnight.
Wow.
So that's going to be a lot of fun. I got the schedule mapped out today, and I'll be posting that tomorrow on my social so y'all can see in what to expect. Also, before I stop talking, I want to say a huge thank you to everybody who left ratings and reviews. We have surpassed the 100 mark. We have surpassed 110 now. So thank you so much for putting those out there. It does help people find the show. And this feed is still about a year old. It's a baby. So thank you so much for doing this. Appreciate it.
Yes. And then are my notes correct that Pooya said that he will eat 150 nuggets for 150 reviews? Incredible.
He said no such thing, Rob. Don't you do this to me, man. Don't you do this to me, Rob. You care about my health? Do you? I'll split it with you. We can do a 75 apiece.
75. Okay, let's think about it.
Maybe that could work.
Can I get 55 nuggets, 55 fries, 55 milkshakes, 55 100 taters? Yeah. Okay.
Ooh.
All right. Anything else, Pooya?
No, Rob. It's just it's a fun journey with you. I am sad the reality did settle today because Mike Bloom tweeted we're 2 weeks away from it being done. I'm not ready to say goodbye to you on a weekly basis. You know what I mean? But we're gonna make it work, damn it. We're gonna have a very fun time in these next 2 weeks.
It's gonna be a fun home stretch, and don't forget about the reunion.
Oh, 3 weeks. Okay, I feel better now. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. So, Pooya, again, happy birthday. Enjoy the last 45 minutes of your birthday. Take care, everybody. Have a good one, and we appreciate thumbs up and subscribe if you're watching us here on YouTube. We'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.